Well, I can say this is one place I've never been in this building before, so thanks for allowing me here, guys.
How's Luke Combs?
It was good. Met Luke a while ago, and he's just a really good dude. And he's still playing in bars when I first met him, and see his success and things like that. And he's just really surrounded by a lot of great people, and and things he does for kids and things like that. I think the video's kind of going around to the Cooper. Got up there and sang fast car, so that was awesome. So, really good dude, and puts on a great show.
How important is it to hydrate after the conditioning run?
Conditioning run, right? So I mean, it's good. I think it's a good metric to kind of see where you're at. It's something that I don't necessarily think breaks you down, but something. I was talking to a buddy, and he's active guy, and I was like, you could probably pass the O lineman one, so it's a good little thing, just kind of standard to have, and easy enough you can do it on your own, and so good first day.
David, I know we talk every year is different. The lessons from last season, how are they going to inform and help you this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think lessons from last year, years before, whatever it may be, I think you always, whether the season's successful or not, you try to take good and bad from that and try to improve it. It's something I learned very early in my career here. No matter how that season ends, there's a lot you can improve on from the next one. So I think you take good and bad with it, and personally good and bad, collectively as a unit, and then as an offense, and then as a team. And I think as a player, you can look at it and you try to find some things you can work on and pinpoint those areas, and ways you can be a better teammate, leader, all kind of things. I think that's what you have to strive for, no matter what you're doing, playing football, whatever it is.
David, as a guy who loves football, is it nice to be back together as a team starting this journey, even though it's training camp can be grueling at times?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think part of the gruelingness actually lets you know you're alive a little bit, and I think you could look back on it and someone said, hey, we could skip to February 8th or whenever the Super Bowl is, and you can just skip to that. It doesn't – that enjoyment comes from all the stuff that you put into it, right, and how hard you work throughout the year. So as part of it, it's being with the guys, stuff being away from family. Luckily we're home to some extent, so we get to see them after practice and things like that. So and off days and different things like that. So I've always enjoyed that, but it's great to be back, and it's a fleeting thing, and you're not going to be able to do this all the time, so you enjoy it.
David is a longtime captain, and you've become a hockey fan since coming to Boston. What are your thoughts about Patrice Bergeron?
Yeah, I literally saw that right before we went out and ran. It's crazy. It's what an amazing career he's had. And how fortunate to get to play for such a great organization, and a lot of respect for the way he's carried himself. I can't really tell you the ins and outs of hockey, but I know he's a great player, and just the way he's carried himself in the community and led that team, I think it's been really impressive, and wish him all the best.
David, if you could offer some words of wisdom to the rookie offensive linemen who are going through their first camp, what would you tell them?
Just take it day by day. I think there's a lot that they're going to be thrown at here right now, and if you say, all right, I'm going to get better at all these things at day one, you're going to get overwhelmed. And I think if you try to take it, it's cliche, right? But you take it day by day and say, all right, I'm going to get better at this combination block today. And if you can improve on that and focus on that, whatever technique, assignment, whatever it is, and focus on that assignment, and don't let those mistakes keep piling up on you, and then go to the next one and fix the next one and fix the next one. And eventually, as you go, you're going to be able to start picking up a lot more things, right? And you start to feel, but I think starting off is just like, all right, hey, if I missed this read on this protection, right? all right, well, why did I miss it? What was I doing? Were my eyes bad? Where was I looking? Did I not understand the concept? All right, figure out what that is, pinpoint that, and don't let that repeat mistake keep happening. And I think that's the biggest thing players like to see. I think that's something, I think earning the trust and like, hey, we messed up on this today. Let's come in. That's why we practice. That's why we do all this stuff. That's why we do 100 walkthroughs and all the, what we can do. And all right, so let's look at it. Let's fix it, and don't let it happen. And don't become a repeat error maker. So that's something as a player I've always respected when guys are able to do that, and you can kind of see them. And then all of a sudden, it's really one of those things where it's like, here, and then a big jump, and then then into your second year, a bigger jump and things like that. So, it's really kind of something you just put your head down and don't look for results right away.
David, as a leader, how do you feel about your offensive unit as you begin this? From yourself, from Mac, all the way through, as you guys try to come together to where you want to be.
Yeah, look, I think we got a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things for us, right? And it's hard because you're not really running the football, and there's no pads on for both sides of the ball. This right now is going to be a big thing. You get into more situational football, more real life football of, hey, they got to defend everything. They got to do all this. But I think really on offense, the biggest thing is just everyone working together, right? It takes 11 guys every play to have some type of success. Even if it's a 4-yard run, 11 guys got to have success. And that's a lot different than defense. So I think that's a big thing is, putting in that time together here over the next 6 weeks, whatever it is, and building that trust in each other, building that camaraderie with the guys, and understanding how guys are going to play, and understanding how guys communicate and getting on the same page, because we got a whole playbook, that has all these calls, and that's all good, but at the same time you got to understand guys' ins and outs and ways of communicating and learning things and doing things, and this guy's going to react this way when this happens, and that might be a little different than this guy, but he's going to have a different skill set there. So it's things like that, learning together, and you can only get that by playing football together.
What's the learning curve for you, just with a new offensive line coach, new offensive coordinator, a lot of new things on offense too?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's always a learning curve to some extent. There's some similarities to things I've done in the past, and schemes and systems, and for the most part, football is not reinventing the wheel in a lot of ways, right? And it's more to me like different languages, right? It's just how you put things in categories, terms, the things like that. So, but I mean, I've got a long road ahead of me, and that's why I'm here at training camp, So we all do, and we all have a lot to get better on. There's things, like I said, I got to learn in the system, learn how, Clem sees things, and especially when we start running the ball and doing things like that. So, I mean, we all got a lot of work to do in a really short time.
Could you speak to what Adrian Clem's brought to the offensive line room, especially as someone who has experience with Dante Scarnecchio, who you guys have a lot of respect for?
Yeah, definitely. I think Clem's done it at a lot of different levels, whether it's pro, college. I think it's nice to kind of see how he sees the game and the way he believes in doing things. Sometimes, different, the same, whatever it may be. And I think, he's worked with a lot of really good players. So I think it's something, something good, something I'd like, hopefully we can, build that, sense of togetherness, sense of one with each other in the O-line room. I think that's very important. I just have some continuity along that front. I think it's really important for offensive line play.
How would you describe his style, David?
Clint?
Yeah.
I mean, well, one, I think, it's always nice to have, I mean, it's not always the case, but I think it's something nice to have a player, he was a player, like he's done it before, right? And I think that's nice as, sometimes having a player, because they can see things, understand things, that you're dealing with, going through, whatever it may be. I think he's very passionate, he's very fiery, he's been demanding of guys, and I think that's important, right? And I think as a player, that's what you want. You don't want someone, maybe it's not easy all the time, but you don't want someone just say, oh, well, it's all right. You got to be told when you're wrong, and I believe in that. I believe in that, and in life and everything, it's not just okay. Things can't be just okay. Like there's always got to be room for improvement, and someone in that position as a teacher and coach, like you got to tell guys when they're wrong, and I think he does a good job of that and pointing that out. And I think like I said, we're all learning each other, and you know, guys respond to different things, different ways. So, you know, I think that's something he's been around, you know, the college, the pros, all that. So I think that's a good mix. You know, he's done it at a lot of, you know, high levels.
That center quarterback relationship is pretty unique, given how close you guys are
Yeah.
on the field. What have you observed from that this leading up to this camp in the last 4 days?
Yeah, you know, I think just seeing, you know, him grow more confident, you know, getting older, you know, he's doing it more and, you know, getting comfortable in the system, things we're doing. And, you know, he's been here a lot of the summer working with guys and doing things like that, so that's always great, you know, as much as they can get on the same page. And no, I think Matt's got all the tools to succeed. But again, it's not just one guy. Like, it doesn't matter. No matter what, it's everybody on the same page 11 times. You know, they've got to run the right routes. We've got to do the right protection. The back's got to block the right guy. So, you know, it's why it's the greatest team game.
David, year 9, I think, for you, just like.
You're not on a honeymoon?
No. No.
You had to come to work, huh?
Yeah.
Like the rest of us?
Maybe next summer.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you. Year 9, just what motivates you still to play the game? And
Yeah, I mean, I love the game, man, and man, been doing it since I was 6 years old, and so, you know, been around it my whole life, from my uncle and things like that, and so it's just something I love. I love getting to do it. Not many people get to wake up and say they get to do what they wanted to do for their whole life, so been pretty fortunate, and you know, and I love being around the guys. You know, I just, you know, it's, you know, being able to say I wore this and I was in my work attire today is pretty cool, you know, right? And get free meals and things like that. So, no, but I love the game. I love being in the locker room. I love the physicality of it. I love the contact of it. I like that it's hard. I like that it's hard. It challenges you. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot of stuff about other people. You learn a lot about life. To me, it's the greatest game there is.
David, are you guys doing things that are significantly different on the line this year under Adrian than you were last year, maybe under Matt and Billy Gates?
I mean, I think, you know, it's different coaches, different styles. I think, you know, like I said earlier, I really don't think there's that much 100 different ways to do things, right? I think it's kind of, there's very little differences here and there, maybe on techniques and things like that, but to me, there's really not drastic things in one way or the other. So there's maybe some little differences here or there, and you know, way he sees things, and even from Dante, and that's something I can kind of, you know, I respect, and I like that he, you know, did it under Dante, which is very, you do it the way Dante does it, and then, you know, he's got some things that he's learned, and, you know, as a coach and a player, you know, I think that's you know, can provide a lot of wisdom and a lot of, you know, different ways to see things and do things. So, you know, I've enjoyed it. We'll see, you know, like I said, once we get more into the nitty gritty of things here and, you know, get going.
David, obviously, you know there's.
Sorry, just a quick follow.
Yeah.
Is the offense and the points of emphasis in the running game drastically altered from what you guys were doing?
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, I think there's a lot of carryover in the system that, you know, I've seen and, you know, been a part of in the past, and you know, personnel things might be different, but that changes year to year, right? You know, what you have, more receivers, more tight ends, more running backs, whatever it may be, it changes year to year. But I think, you know, coaches, their job is to look at our, you know, roster and see what we have and see the strengths, the weaknesses, whatever, and try to figure out how do you get the best out of guys and put us in the best, you know, positions to succeed.
David, obviously, you know there's a championship standard here. You've spoken about it, worked to uphold it. When you think about a losing record the last 3 years combined, the playoff wins in 4 years, what do you make of that?
I mean, it's not good enough, and, you know, I think we know that. There's, you know, there's guys here that have won, you know, championships and know what that looks like. And the league is, I think, you know, the more I've looked at the league, it's a, I actually saw a quote, golly, now I can forget about it. I think it was Paul Brown, he said it, and it said, football is a game of errors, and the team that usually makes the least amount of errors win. And I thought that was interesting. It's not about winning and things like that. It's errors, and whoever makes the least, that's who wins. And it's kind of the old adage: you can't win until you keep from losing. And there's some things, some games you've been in, and here in the years past that you look at and say shoulda, coulda, woulda, and we just have to figure out ways to win. And it's not just one side of the ball; it's the New England Patriots, and that's what we're going to try to get back here to these next 6 weeks and start off the year like that.
I feel like there's anything to prove in that sense, maybe not to any outsiders, but just amongst yourselves.
Yeah, we're competitive, right? And you don't want to be sitting there watching people win, and you don't want to be going here on Sunday and having to deal with losing. It ain't. At the end of the day, you play the game to win, and if you don't, it's not fun. Winning is fun. That's what makes this game fun. So that's what we're going to try to do, and that's what you do all this for. That's what you work all year for, not just to go out there and kind of slap it against the wall. So that's what we're going to try to do. Thanks, guys. See y'all.